Welcome to Creative Conversations, a podcast exploring contemporary art, science and friendship. In this episode, we talk about the mysterious human urge to create and why artists and scientists sometimes see the world in completely different ways.
I do like it, when you run. I think that's hilarious.
You run.
When you run, you've got your arms are down here and you look like you're 8 years old.
That's nice. Yeah. I feel that's a good thing. I don't think I'm moving like I was 8.
I'm telling you, deep down, I think your soul is still very youthful.
That's nice. Yeah. I think that's something to aspire to with all the decades that we've lived.
I just laugh. You're not bothered by...
convention?
Yeah. Like how it looks.
I think if I
stop... I'm not saying it's bad, but it looks like you're 8 years... Literally, to me, it looks like you're 8 years old running around playing. That's what it looks like to me.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Because I'm in my 5th decade.
Are we the same? Are we born the same year?
Not quite. You've got a few more years of wisdom than I do.
Yeah, I'm 70. I'm born.
Oh, it's 73.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So how long have we known each other, Sanji?
We met in start of the year 2000, so I reckon about Easter.
And we're still mates.
Still mates. I don't think that can change now.
It can't, because we've covered a lot of ground in regards to all the topics that we've had chit-chat about.
And you and I have both thrown grenades in there.
And we're undeterred.
Undeterred, and we forge ahead, and we're fascinated. I say some crazy shit, and you go, ooh.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you reckon about that, Sanj?
And I love that. You are my most revered friend, Jones. I don't think I would be freaking out if I couldn't chat to you. I'd be tripping.
And I'm like, that's fascinating, Sanj. Because you've got a very science background and I don't. But yet we still worked in the same job, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And I think back to those times and I can see now that working that job was a means to an end for you. Like you're really good with people.
Yeah.
That component of it was where you excelled.
Yes.
But I could see, and ultimately why you left, I think you couldn't stand being there.
I could not stand being there.
And so I'm rapt that you got to go off and become an artist and have a crack at that.
Yeah.
And you've had your ups and downs with that too, I know.
Yeah, it's a hard slog too. Well, I think it doesn't matter what we do. There's always going to be trials and tribulations.
Always.
But I think that's interesting because we probably should clarify that the role that we were in was science. It was raw materials and manufacturing.
Yeah, we were acting as agents on behalf of overseas manufacturing.
But I like that our conversations are so varied because of that science background and that art background. I think it's quite fascinating. And you've actually got quite a big movie background as well. I think your knowledge of movies is second to none.
It's extensive. I've watched a lot of films, and I like to pick things apart. And that's about as artistic as I probably get, in the sense that I love film, I love movies, and I love looking at them and trying to figure out what the storyteller was trying to
convey
and how they're doing that. And we're talking about actors and which actors have moved us. We're talking about that extensively, who the good actors are and why. And I think that's as close as I get to the art world, watching film and shows and feeling that emotional reverberation, having watched something. I'm totally immersed. And when I am, and when I'm thinking about it for days, I know it's done something to me.
Yeah.
What I don't really naturally comprehend is on the wall.
Visual art.
Mm-mm. I mean, I know when I like something, but I can't explain why. And so our conversations have helped me figure that out more.
Yeah.
Because I don't come from an art background. We've spoken about footy, and I can pick footy to pieces and explain what's going on there. But you can do the same with art.
With art?
You can pick it, you can break that down into its fundamentals and explain it to me that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting because that's what is so intriguing to me, because I think to read a piece of artwork, I find it comes quite natural, but it comes down to what the person was conveying. And I think the successful artwork touch on an emotional human nature that we all probably are a part of or experience at some point in our life. And so perhaps some artworks might be challenging, and that's okay. But ultimately, I think it's a human experience to feel the world in a way through either storytelling or through materials or through singing or through dance. And I think there's a nice connection there. And I think that idea of having the science background that you do have, it brings a clarity to the experience as well, because I like the way in which your brain thinks in a very pattern structured way. And I think with art there would always be a pattern and a structure to it, but it becomes more abstract. And for me, I like to blow up the structure of it so it's not so obvious, but there's always going to be a structure hanging on a piece of artwork that I create.
Fascinating to say how my mind works.
Yeah.
And I'm science trained, but naturally that's always been the way I process things. It's very logical, very methodical. And what I've always found fascinating is you might be working on a painting or sculpture or whatever. And I think I've asked you in the past, how do you know when you're finished?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you're working on something and the only thought in my head is, when is she going to actually know that she's complete? Because it's so alien to me. If I'm fixing something around the house, it's obvious when it's complete because you've got everything in its place and it's finished. Top coating goes on and you're done.
Yeah.
But in art, and we've spoken about this ad nauseum, it's more based on emotion. So I think you've said to me in the past, it's when you arrive.
Yeah.
That there's a feeling that you get when you're looking at the piece of art and you go, hey,
okay, that says what it has to do.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'd necessarily have a preconcept. Well, I'd have a general idea. I'm going to make some 3D work. I'm going to do it with paper. I'm going to do it with paper mache. Yeah. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I know that I want it to hang, maybe, as a guideline.
Okay. How do you commence? Do you pick up tools or do you pick up a brush or whatever tool that you're thinking of using for the art and just start?
Yeah.
Or do you have some sort of plan, or do you just start? And
I think you just have to start, because you don't want to be too premeditated. Like, that's the difference that you're saying. If you have a project around that, you need to fix something in the house, you know that it's broken, you know what, you have to go to Bunnings, you got to get your gear, you've got to get the right tools, and you got to fix it, and you got to make it waterproof or whatever, and then it's done when it's not broken anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's repaired. Hey, hooray.
It's done.
But for an artist,
you would probably have some general concepts that you like to make art, you like to think about the greater conversation in the world. It might be the matter of exploring how light falls on a surface. It might be that simple. Or it might be, okay, well, I like to use paint. And so, okay, I'm going to explore this material in paint. So you've got these ideas. And also academically, it's very interesting right now. The art world is an area of activism. And so there might be some things that you might be wanting to have a conversation about or push against. So for me, my work would probably touch into feminism a little bit, or maybe a lot, depending on what I'm making. But activism is not my first port of call. I just need to create something. I want to explore it using different materials. I like working with the materials. Some materials are more fun to work with than others. I don't like working with glass. It's too shardy.
All right.
So I won't work with glass. Yeah.
Can we just explore your drawing for a moment?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably your
passion, or it makes sense to me to be able to draw something.
Yes. And so you've probably been doing that for the longest time. You've got the most experience with that, and it's probably your strongest suit. So you start sketching something. You've got a piece of paper, you've got your pencil or charcoal, whatever you've chosen to use. Do you sketch an outline of something, or does your mind just take you somewhere and you start drawing? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay.
Do you design something in your mind first, or do you just start drawing and some emotion takes over or something and it just creates itself through you?
Eventually it would create itself through you. But for me, I like to start from life. Everything's always got to be weighted in life from an experience. And so observation is a big thing for me. I like to observe. And so I will actually take something from life and then work from that. Say I do a still life and I would set up a scene. I like working with mannequins. They're quite funny.
Yeah.
So I would start
There's
with
a
that.
design component.
There's a design component. Well, there's a design component in that I might have some things that I might like to draw, but I'm working with mannequins at the moment, so I'll just start with a mannequin because it's a human form.
Mhm.
So literally I'm taking from life in it, using a mannequin. And then to draw from life, because then it comes down to observational skills.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not merely copying, it's an experience of what am I drawing at that time? What is the surface that I'm drawing? What is it, a deeper space? Is it a shallow space? Is it a heavy space? And so these things all come into the work. And so I'm trying to put this experience onto the page. And so when you've drawn for long enough, which I'm happy to draw for hours, you would get to a point where you've set it up, there's a framework, there's a structure, and then that's when it starts to get a bit exciting, because that's when you wanted to push it further and you want it to go somewhere else. But for me, as an artist, I don't really want to be aware that that's what I'm doing. I want to get to a point where I've actually stepped away, and then it's almost this weird situation where you're a conduit to actually bring whatever the drawing wants it to do. And so my most successful drawings are the one where there's touching on some emotion, which I don't know what the emotion was at the time, because after the work's finished, I can only read it as a viewer. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I can have a hint at it, but who knows?
So is it an element of losing yourself in the drawing and almost do you stop thinking about drawing and then something's revealed in the drawing? Is that what happens?
Yeah, and I think it's true. You do stop thinking what you're doing, because once again, you don't want that premeditated thought, because then it's just manufactured, right?
I find this fascinating because you see reference to this in the sports world. Great exponents of great footballers, almost artistry. They stop thinking about what they're doing. Or martial artists, they're so in tune, they've practiced everything for years and years and years. And then when they're in the throes of whatever action they've excelled at, they almost forget what they're doing and it just happens.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think the good artwork that resonates to me is the one where the artist has actually left the building and what they've created is manifested through whatever that higher level is that they went to create something that's not purely hitting the bill as a commercial entity, or it's not, I'm just going to make a cardboard box. It's not just conceptual. There's something where the artist has put their heart and soul into it. They've left something on the page and then they've got out of there. So to get to that point, for me, it's quite difficult. Like, it requires a lot of emotional investment to show up and to do the work.
Would you say as you're drawing, it becomes meditative? Are you almost...
Yeah, I think time can...
like a trance of
Yeah,
sorts,
I think when you get to that level, if you can like block away a few hours and you can get to that point where you just have to commit to making the work, yeah, it can be almost trance-like, where I think what it is, you have that spark that you know you're trying to strive somewhere, but you don't know where you're getting to. And then...
So I find that fascinating.
Yeah, there's no end point.
This is alien to me. And this is why I'm drawn to art, because I've heard you talk about these things in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated by it. It's almost like there's a calling. There's things to be unearthed.
Yeah.
As you're drawing, as you're sculpting, as you're
making
painting,
or the process of that. There's things to
something
be
is
unearthed.
revealed almost during the process, and you won't know what it is until the end.
No. And then the materials that you're drawn to might be somewhat revealing as well.
Yeah.
And so you don't know what it is that you want to use or why you wanted to use that material. It just felt right.
Yeah.
And and so it's interesting because we were having that chat, that difference between science and art, and we think that they're very much linked. But whereas an artist just wants to prove it once, it's like we've done it once and then we're out of there, and a scientist has to keep reproving it and doing the same experiment again and again. And by that stage, the artist is like, I've proved it once, move on.
It is funny. You mentioned that how the science world and the art world seem to be diametrically opposed.
Mm-mm.
But sometimes it's like two different views of possibly the same thing. And
because you might arrive at that same point, but you come at it at different angles.
Yes. And so scientists often start with a hypothesis, and then they will endeavour to prove or disprove that statement through experimentation, through collecting data, and they will test that data.
Again and again and again, without any bias.
Without any bias. Until it's proved beyond any shadow of a doubt, peer-reviewed, and then they can come out and say, that's true.
Yeah.
Whereas an artist looks at it from a completely different perspective. But it's not true to say that they can't arrive at a similar position. It's just
a different way.
Different road.
And I think scientists, perhaps their focus is very much drilled right down to a specific thing. And I think with artists, their eyes are open constantly, picking up different information as they go along and different intel. And so they might be fascinated by, say, the way in which certain materials are made. And so they'll go down this investigative track of manufacturing. Or they might be interested in environmental things. And so they'll be speaking to scientists who are aware of what's happening with the environmental impacts. And then they look at different things that way. But it means that they're not locked into one idea of study. And so you need to be a jack of all trades.
Yes. And at the end of the day, I think both scientists and artists value communication, value language, because at the end of the day, you need to be able to convey a message. And so scientists have a very different way of doing that. They'll try and prove and disprove a theory or a hypothesis. Whereas I think artists are trying to communicate maybe an alternate view or maybe a different way of looking at the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summary of that one, because you go to an exhibition and you're looking at a point of view, you're looking at the artist's point of view, and they're communicating that through a visual medium. And it might not become apparent at quick look, like you might bounce off of it like a little bird hitting a window. Or if you've got patience, you might sit there and you'll find something and you go, what are they conveying? And you'll look at the materials in which they've made something, or you look in the way in which it's been placed in an environment, or you look in a way in which where the artist worked, or was it a collective experience, or was it a singular experience? Ultimately, at the end of the day, the artists are communicating in a language that might not be necessarily apparent, but there's usually enough information there to find out what they're trying to say or what they have said.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Of course, artists can communicate through the written word as well, and
there are so many
ways to communicate with whoever they're trying to communicate to. But I'm fascinated because I'm a novice in terms of art, and being able to pick apart art and really understand what it's about, it'll be a steep learning curve for me. But it's fascinating to hear an artist talk about it, because it gives me a little bit of insight into why they do these things. Because it's never occurred to me to go and paint a picture of a building or a landscape or someone else. It's never occurred to me.
Is that right?
No.
I had this thing when I was younger. I was like super young, like say 10. And once again, I can remember a time when I was probably in my early 20s. And I remember looking at something and I almost had tears because I couldn't draw it. And I just wanted to convey something in a drawing. And I didn't have the skills to do it. And I was trying to draw a basic kitchen appliance. I just wanted to draw a toaster. For whatever reason, that toaster was cool and I wanted to try and capture that mark.
Yeah.
And I was almost crying because I didn't know how to do it. And I was so frustrated I didn't have the skill set.
So that explains to me a little more how everyone thinks about possibly the same thing in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, logical people
can do illogical things like wanting to draw a toaster.
Yeah, but it's almost like artists, there's an inherent need to have to do it, to have to draw or express it in an artistic way. And I don't comprehend why that is, because it's never been in me to do so.
Is that right?
And so I look at it and I appreciate the art, but I appreciate it because I can see there's a piece of art sitting on your wall right now. And I know it's taken so many hours for you to create that piece of art. And I just wouldn't do it because, one, I'm not trained to do it, but there's no need in me to create it.
You don't have a need.
No.
You don't?
No,
to make something?
My
ears. No wonder I struggle in society.
My brain is glacial, Jones.
That's why I hang out with you. Let's just calm down, Jones. Take it easy. Yeah. Just go hang out with Sanji.
Yeah. And so I look at that and I go, wow, look at that. There's so many hours of painstaking work and drive and determination to create that piece of art right there.
Yeah.
And it would never occur to me to want to do. Like if I'm painting something or fixing something at home, I do it because I need to keep the water
out of your house.
Entering the house. So I do it because there's an obvious need. Keep the weather out, Sam.
As opposed to me. We should actually describe the artwork that you're looking at. It's actually a really big charcoal drawing.
Yes.
It's probably 2 by 2.5.
Yeah, about that.
It's quite big.
It's a beautiful piece of art, and I've spent lots of time.
We've looked at it because you sit at my dinner table.
Yeah, and I'm fascinated because I look at that and I think, wow, like, my friend can do these things.
But I'm fascinated by the fact that you just said to have the tenacity to do it. And to me, I'm just quite stunned at that. This is new information. After 25 years, we've not actually had this conversation.
It would never occur to me to ever undertake something like that because why would I do it?
To me, I'm quite stunned. It's like, but why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you make something like that?
Some people don't think that way.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. No wonder I struggle.
Well, I think you would struggle if you didn't create.
That's probably more to the point. Actually, you're right. I don't actually struggle out there. I'm actually quite okay at conversing.
It's an outlet. I think, and artists, you listen to them, whether they're actors, whether they're writers, poets, sculptors, anything like that. There seems to be an inherent need to create and to express that, to communicate that.
It must be so calm not to have to do that.
I'm telling you, I don't have to do that.
This is why we're mates.
My brain is glacial in the sense that when I'm at rest, I can think about nothing.
Oh my God, I want that skill set.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be me as my next art move. My next piece of artwork. Be careful.
You may not be able to create art.
No, that might be. Is Rebecca's mind glacial? No. Has it ever been glacial? No. So, we could make this. Oh, we could do this.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah.
No, there's no glacial. Seems like a nice place to survive, Sanji, or live. It's not even surviving. You're thriving.
That's the only way I've ever known. I look at art, I appreciate it, but I know I could never do it because the drive is not there.
Do you know, I feel that this is going to be hilarious because, so we've decided to do a podcast because of this difference in opinion. Also it's an excuse just to have a good old chit chat.
So the chit chat's been going on for 25 years with my good mate, and pal, Rebecca James.
Yes,
and
Sandro Micozzi.
And we have spoken about so many different things in this world.
We have covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, and we've thrown grenades in there.
And none of us are either surprised. We're never surprised.
No, and the conversation just continues
on
and on. And so this aspect of talking about, I don't feel like I can really add much in terms of...
I think you could, though.
Well, I'm not an artist, but I appreciate it. And I think it fascinates me that people have the ability to create that or the inherent need to do it.
I think it's more the inherent need.
Yeah.
That's the part that I don't think we realise. Like we've gone into I've just jumped in and going, this is going to be interesting. We've got science and art. Where they intersect is really fascinating. Yeah. But I think the thing that we've overlooked is that there is actually those who have that innate need to create something and those who just go, no, I'm good. I'm super fine. That's a whole new lot of information for me to take on board. Yeah. That must be really joyous for you.
As you know, I exist in this state of
chill.
Yeah, zen, chill.
It's so good. Lots of people try and aspire to that and you're just naturally there.
But I never, when it's just me and it's quiet, I never feel like there's something missing, ever. And so I'm not just saying that. It's true.
It is true. I've known you for a very long time. It's true.
It's true.
But I don't feel like that. I think the missing thing, I think you just have the ability just to go, it's okay. Whereas me, I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could do that. I could go do some drawing. Sit down.
But it's who you are, right?
How long would I sit down without thinking?
No.
1 minute?
Oh, really?
5?
Is that right?
I don't know.
Yeah. You can't sit there and just ponder nothingness. And
I might have done it yesterday.
Because sometimes
for 5 minutes in a car.
I can lose myself sometimes. I might be thinking about one thing, shall we say, and sometimes half an hour can zip on by. And I think, I do have things to do. I better go and attend to them. But
That's brilliant.
I can actually sit there and not worry about much. And
how have I survived this long?
Well, it is who you are.
That is who I am. That's who you are. This is why we find it endlessly funny. that we know we're so completely different.
We're so completely different, and yet our conversations are so much fun.
They're so funny.
I find that fascinating.
And I think also if we were disagreeable, we probably wouldn't say it anyway because we're very agreeable people.
I think we both are agreeable people. That's true.
We're very agreeable. I'd like to be disagreeable.
I don't think you can be.
I know, I've tried. I really have tried. I've tried really hard and I still can't be.
It makes me laugh when I do see moments of your
disagreeableness.
I find that hilarious.
I know, it's quite funny, isn't it? Because I will at points be so aghast with someone's behaviour.
Yeah.
And then you agreed with them, didn't you? It's like, yeah. Just to keep the peace. Anyway, I feel that we should probably wrap this up.
Sounds awesome.
All right. Should we go get some lunch?
Let's.
Job done. Bye, Sanj.
Bye, Jones.
Thanks for listening to Creative Conversations. In this episode, we explored the difference between artistic and scientific ways of thinking and the mysterious human urge to create. If you enjoyed the conversation, follow the podcast for future episodes where we continue exploring art, science, curiosity, and friendship.